Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Literature of Faith and Doubt. Today we will be analysing a poem that seems to be about doubt, yet yearning to be about faith. This poem is called The Impercipient by Thomas Hardy. We'll discuss the poet, his poem, the theme of the poem, and what it could possibly mean, and if it can relate to today. Thomas Hardy was one of the world's most renowned poets, and has published many extraordinary works, from novels and short stories to poems. Today we will be focusing on one of those poems, as mentioned earlier, called The Impercipient. This poem is set in a cathedral and starts with the first two lines of the first stanza, stating that from this bright believing band an outcast I should be, suggesting that everyone within the cathedral's bright due to their belief in God. However, he then paints himself as an outcast, suggesting that he possibly may not be as bright due to his disbelief. The poem then continues to state that faiths by which my comrades stand seem fantasies to me, and mirage mists their shining land is a drear destiny. This shows us that the faith his comrades have seem fake to him, and that their shining land, possibly meaning heaven, is shrouded and can't be seen by him, but he sees it as dull or a depressing destination. Hardy was known to be an agnostic, with a previous belief in God. He also has an existential and bleak outlook on life, because after Darwin and many other evolutionists released their contradictory theories to what he had believed all his life, he began to question what he believed and what was true or not, however remaining agnostic. That can be seen in the majority of his works, so this comes as no surprise that he would describe his friend's faith as such. But if this is the case, why is it set in a cathedral? Thomas Hardy is really trying to show us the difficulty of having a faith with contradicting thoughts and facts in your life. So let's explore that closer, shall we? These next two stanzas show the beginning and initial struggle from Hardy, as we see a reason for that cathedral setting, as it sort of symbolizes a yearning or a desire to be like his friends and to be able to believe in God and have their bliss. Hardy seems to get frustrated with this, as he states in the second stanza, why thus my soul should be consigned to infelicity, why always I must feel blind to sights my brethren see, why joys they found I cannot find abides a mystery. This stanza shows a sense of yearning, as infelicity means unhappiness or misfortune, which he is saying his soul is discarded to or bound to, then followed by, why always I must feel blind to sights my brethren see, why joys they found I cannot find abides a mystery. He is saying he feels blind to the faith and joy of God, unlike his friends, and that it all remains a mystery to him. This shows a sense of being lost and unhappy, and yearning for faith, but only having doubt. Thomas Hardy then continues to say, in the third stanza, since heart of mine knows not that ease, which they know, since it be that he who breathes all's wells to these, breathes no all's wells to me, my lack might move their sympathies and Christian charity. After getting frustrated, Hardy almost begins to feel sorry for himself, and feeling as though these people that can feel and know the ease and joy of God and religion should feel sympathy for him. His sadness becomes evident when he states that he who breathes all's wells to these breathes no all's wells to me, as he is saying that God makes these people happy and fills their lives with joy, yet he doesn't do the same for him. Although he begins to come to terms with this reality in the following stanza. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I am like a gazer who should mark an inland company, standing up-fingered with hark hark the glorious distant sea, and feel, alas, 'tis upon yon dark and wind-swept pine to me. Oh, that was a weird stanza. In this stanza he states that he should be proud and boisterous about himself, and where he stands. However, in the next stanza he meets peace. Yet I would bear my shortcomings with meet tranquility, but for the charge that blessed things are leifer have on be. In this stanza, Hardy states that he will come to terms with his isolation and inability to believe and understand God, and meet with peace but for the cost of believing, he would prefer to willingly decide not to. As he finishes with, "Oh, doth a bird deprived of wings go earthbound wilfully? Enough. As yet disquiet clings about us, rest shall we." He ends on a note of unsatisfied acceptance of his circumstance. In this stanza he uses a bird as a metaphor for himself, and tells it to fly about the world, earthbound, strong, and wilfully, referring to himself and saying, he is saying that God has purposely deprived him of his faith, even though he really wishes to believe. Then he says that despite the fact that unease and sorrow will always cling to him, he will still rest and accept who he is. These last few stanzas really bring forth his yearning to believe and understand God, but also his acceptance of the fact that he can't, and that he will continue to live his life willfully. Oof. Well, that was a bit of a roller coaster of a poem, huh? So to wrap up for you all, Thomas Hardy, as a child, grew up in a church and really loved it. However, contradicting theories came out about our existence. He began to question his belief, and that turned him into an agnostic. This poem is a product of that questioning and disbelief, as you can see the journey he is going on from the beginning, where he is in a cathedral, and questioning why he can't see and understand the beauty of God that everyone else around him sees. We see him question, agonize, and pity himself over this in the first 3 stanzas, as the initial reaction to such a belief, almost as if he is questioning God why he can't help him to see his glory. Then in the final 3 stanzas, we see him accept with hesitation his inability to believe as if he is still hoping for some realization of hope. This really shows a battle between faith and doubt, as he struggles with his doubt throughout the entire time, hoping to believe and have faith that there is a God. However, in the end, he does accept his doubt, but I personally see it as accepting his circumstances, but retaining faith that someday he may believe and God will show him the way. I personally feel as though this poem was backwards and forwards with a somewhat sad ending, as you can really tell that Hardy really wishes to believe and accept something he wishes not to accept. Whew. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you keep listening in for the rest of the series, okay? Peace out.